Better than Lego. Better than Lego.
Matthew Johns is in position for a long-range shot. He's with it now, Matthew Johns. Here goes the kick from Johns.
Well, it's John's Family Podcast time again, people. And Jack, Cooper, Patricia, Charlie, how are we all?
Excelente.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's the day after. We're recording this the day after Super Bowl, of course. And boys, I see you sporting your NFL shirts.
Sorry, someone is ringing me. What country is plus 9-1?
Plus 9-1.
Plus 9-1.
Well, 6-1 is Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, 9-1. Where the hell is
Dave's Googling.
No.
that? Seriously.
Dave's
Interesting.
very
How
quick.
rude.
Great
Should I
work, Dave.
answer?
How good is he? He moves on it like fast.
India.
India. Okay. Telemarketer.
You think?
Thinking? Yeah.
Now, NFL, yes. Now, Coops, we were out at Seven Hills, weren't we?
We were out at Seven Hills.
Hudson Hotel.
Our first little emceeing thing together, me and you. We hosted the Super Bowl. Plenty of drunk people out there, hey. Like, I hadn't seen... The Super Bowl started at 10:30.
Well, that's the great thing about Super Bowl, is you don't feel guilty drink before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
That's why Australians love it so much.
We went up and spoke for like 10 minutes, and then as the national anthem was going on, people were bringing Jaeger bombs over to Dad.
Wow.
And
Did
me.
he have them?
No, he didn't. Of course he didn't.
No, he smelled pretty sweet when he came
No,
home.
he did. He had one
Yeah,
Jaeger
of
bomb.
course he did.
But they
He's
sculled it. They were maniacs. They sculled it, and Dad couldn't scull it. So he was like drinking it, drank a third, and they were going, pussy, and he was going, shit. And then drank another third, and they were just peer pressuring him, and then he finally drank the last bit, and he was going, He did it a few times.
But Cooper, you're forgetting your mothers in the room.
No,
Righto?
sorry.
Play it cool,
No.
brother.
Oh, it's all
I'm
good. Did
I'm
you see
pretty
Taylor
sure.
Swift? Taylor Swift sculled a bit.
It's good enough for Swifty.
Chugging. I know. I was impressed.
No, you'll actually be proud of what
I
Dad...
liked her.
Dad, some guy gave Dad a beer, and he said, Matty, scull it. And they cheersed, and they scull it. And Dad just sipped it and then put it back down. And he goes, oh, you're too good. You beat me. You're too good. And the bloke walked off, and then Dad goes, I just got a free drink.
I said,
would've-
see how I did that? I just got a free drink.
Yeah, it's very smart. Like, I too many times if you don't feel like sculling, you go, oh, don't worry. I won't have a drink.
Yeah.
Well, you literally
pretend, yeah.
can only scull so much until it starts coming out through your nose.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a sculler. I never was much of a sculler.
Really?
Particularly, I haven't tried to scull something for over a decade. Well,
Actually, yeah.
in the last month anyway. But Coop, I tell you, like, it was interesting. The difference before the game, quite an attentive audience. Halftime, plenty of heckling going on. Weren't quite as attentive in the second half, so I cut it short. Our second half speech went for approximately a minute 45, and I said, guys, let's just get ready for Usher. Enjoy.
Yeah. Well, it was like we had funny stories and that at the start, and then we went up at half time, and it was a very boring first half.
It was.
And I think people were kind of like Super Bowled out because it just was a lot of errors and interceptions. And then Dad got up there and he goes, you know what we'll do? We'll just get out there and we'll just dissect the first half. And it just was not the crowd for it. They were so drunk. They were going, bring back Reg Reagan.
Mate, I tell you what happened. There were two guys in particular that were really heckling, and I could see that they were annoyed.
How old were they?
Oh, they'd have been probably early 30s. But the reason why, and I can understand, they came up after it, because I was sort of looking going, boys, where's this coming from? But what I was saying up there was that Kansas City are going to win. I said, we were there in Super Bowl 50. There was nothing more certain, even though they'll be behind at halftime. With Mahomes, they were going to find a way to win because they just got the best quarterback. And I said the same thing. Now, these blokes were heckling me, and I was thinking, what's it got to do with them? Like, what? We went over. They said, oh, sorry, boys, have a look at this. One had a multi that he'd had for about 9 months, and all he needed to happen was 49ers to win, $46,000, and the other guy was $28,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, mate, it was fair to say that there was a gamut of emotions in that final quarter.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Mahomes? How cool is he?
He's good, isn't he?
You reckon?
You just could see him. He's just so cool.
Tell me about his brother, boys.
Man.
His brother's really controversial influence now.
Yeah.
What does he do?
He's not liked. Last year he's big on TikTok. And last year, like after he'd show up on the sidelines and be doing TikTok dances and things.
On the sideline.
On the
Yeah,
sideline.
so it's like a running joke that like this year it was with Jackson Mahomes and Taylor Swift. It was like, Brock Purdy, save us from Jackson Mahomes and Taylor Swift, because they knew it would just blow up on social media because he used to do all these TikTok dances.
Well, they were
and stuff.
telling us yesterday one of the guys, Matty, our Irish mate, who's a huge NFL fan, just loves the Patriots, lived in Boston for a long time. He said that apparently Super Bowl week, Mahomes actually hired a security, and he was sitting there with his wife, and that of the week of, anyway, his brother went to walk into the restaurant, and his brother's yelling like, Patrick, and the security's looking at Patrick, and he goes, no, don't let him near me.
So he's a bit of a pest.
And the old man's a bit of a scallywag. The old man was a professional baseball player.
Was he?
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
So,
Was anyone else getting like anxiety as in that last quarter, like the last play? It was like 13 seconds, 8 seconds, 6 seconds. I was just going, hurry up! Like,
yeah. They manage it so well, don't they? Manage the clock.
That's what I mean. I mean, they're just so cool.
Right, I've got something for you, right? Before we talk about after the game, I just want to talk something. Like at the start of the year, ESPN put a thing on the NFL and ESPN called Hard Knocks. And what they do, they focus on one team in the off-season. It's just all access. It is brilliant. The NFL make the teams do it. The NFL don't get a say. If ESPN nominates that team, then that's the team that's got to do it. And this year they picked the New York Jets because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers was going there. It was a big story. And it was really, really good. The series was outstanding. But there was a moment. Now I don't know how would I describe the guy. He's either a psychic, or magician, slash one of those guys, who does tricks and stuff like that. Yeah, a bit of everything. Anyway, so what he got a New York Jets player up called Mecole Hardman, right? And he was doing all this sort of stuff, and he's talking about the New York Jets team, and he's talking about other sides. Anyway, he wrote down a bit of paper. He just wrote down a thing. It had come to the conclusion. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs, but he said to Mecole Hardman, you're going to win the Super Bowl. There it is, people. You're going to beat the San Francisco 49ers 31-21. And he started cheering. Now, why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because Mecole Hardman got traded back to Kansas City as the season was about to start. That guy who was getting it done by the psychic went back and he scored the winning touchdown.
Wow, he's a wide receiver.
Goosebumps.
He was the wide receiver. He scored the winning touchdown. That guy who the psychic said you're going to win the Super Bowl, but unfortunately for all the New York Jets players, it wasn't going to be with them. He was at Kansas City. He went to New York Jets and he got traded back before the season started.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible. Love the NRL to do something like that. I do
like
love
the Hard
it.
Knocks.
I love it.
We had Tales of Tiger Town. Didn't
No,
go
no,
quite
let's just do
as...
something a little different. No, like that, like a psychic.
I'd love to see. I
Sort of-
wouldn't mind seeing a psychic come into every camp, like just before the preseason, just to
Can
see.
someone
what would
control
happen.
that dog? She's doing something.
Yeah. I think with some of the clubs, the clubs go, don't bother. We know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, we were going to do a similar thing like Hard Knocks at the Storm. It was like around Craig Bellamy's last year. They sort of thought he was going to retire.
Which has been last year, the last 10 years.
Yeah,
really.
he just keeps signing on. It's a contract negotiation tool he does. And there was a guy who came for the preseason. He would have been there for like 2 months, like captured all this footage for him. And then one of the early games, we didn't start the year well, and then he was in there at halftime filming him, and he got bellyache like in the middle of a spray, and he like sort of looked at him and he was like, mate, get out of here, don't come back.
Oh.
And then the bloke just never shut up again.
Took
See,
it quite
this
literally.
is a really big thing that a lot of the networks and Fox have to deal with, is when you ask a coach or a club in the low-pressure atmosphere of December or January, can we do this? They'll generally go, yeah, sure. But then all of a sudden when the pressure starts, they don't want to do it.
Like
so
even-
a lot of times, you have to almost get contracts.
Well, even like the Dolphins one, like the Dolphins one, I think they did it really smart. Like obviously they got access to Wayne, as you would during the preseason, and obviously like preseason where they're trying to build their roster before, like the year before, that he had off. But it only went till round 1, which was really good. Like, you got to see how round 1 went. But obviously they chose not to go any further than that, just not knowing what's going to happen, which is probably the way to do it. Like,
it's a distraction too. Like, you look at even Hard Knocks. They don't go like that. Hard Knocks was preseason. Like,
it's all preseason.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you go once the pressure's gorged, and then it's another distraction for the players. So I think experienced coaches don't like it because they know it can be a distraction.
Absolutely, it is. Well, I think sometimes when I've seen previous Hard Knocks, I actually think it's through the off season. I think it actually distracts the coaching staff. You know, because I'm looking at not so much the head coach, but the younger coaches, his assistants, who are trying to make a name for themselves. Suddenly, you're watching them train, and I go, they're not coaching, they're performing.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, you think about then this is different. Okay, so bear with me. Think about the porn industry. Like, if it's
similar industries.
If you're making love without a camera in your face, like, you're not worried about what you look like or all that stuff, but you put a camera in front of your face, suddenly you're putting on an act.
Looking up at the
you're,
screen,
you're worried
smiling.
about what face am I doing, like during this position.
Like, I'm sure, like, the assistants, before they do their team talks, they're like writing down what they're going to say, or they're preparing, knowing that there's going to be a screen in front of them. So, you know, the more risky approach, I'm sure they wouldn't take it.
Nah.
Out of fear of how they might, you know.
Alec Baldwin once said that about it. He's all his mates, his knockabout mates from Jersey, were all like, they used to say, man, tell us about, you know, when you were with so-and-so, that broad, you know, that good-looking broad, what was it like, you know? And he's saying to them, hey, fellas, there's 30 cameras around, and there's like 50 people. It's really not that romantic or that much fun. They're going, come on, tell us what it's about, really, come on. It's like, you imagine, it wouldn't be...
No, it's not.
It's probably the most romantic thing.
It's not good. Like, it wouldn't be fun to be in there with cameras in your face while you're trying to make sweet love. Not that Alec Baldwin was actually making love to the woman in whatever movie it was.
Well, he's acting to be.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
He's meant to be.
Travis Kelce,
Oh,
our man.
Is he our man?
My God. Well,
I'm going to make a little prediction here. I'd say he's almost 99% certain to be coming out to Australia with Taylor on the tour.
Do you think he will come out?
Yeah. Well, he was flitting off to bloody South America or wherever she was.
Well, he can at least return the favour.
Exactly. She flew back from Japan.
I see when
On her private
when they
jet.
cut to her the first time, all the crowd booed. What is that?
I'm over that.
In Australia, that would not surprise me. In America, that surprises me because Americans are they're not so much the tall poppy syndrome. I remember Bono saying a thing about someone asked him, what's the difference between America and Ireland? And Bono said, interesting. He said, in America, a father walks along with his son and he points to this big mansion at the top of the hill and he says, see, son, if you work hard, that can be yours one day. And he said, and the Irish walks with his son, points to the house and said, we'll get that one day.
Well, heaps of the proper NFL fans who aren't Chiefs supporters are really off Taylor Swift. Like, is that like your game?
It's
grown the game. Like, I think it's good for the NFL. It's grown the game. But the real pure ones think, like, they don't like that
distraction.
They don't like the distraction of it. They don't like how it's turned into a bit of a frenzy, the NFL, and how the Chiefs have got so much more attention than the rest of the teams. So, like, this guy I know is a massive Bills fan, and he just hates her because not that she's
Why?
done
Because
anything.
she's not going out with one of the Buffalo Bills.
Well, it's the fact that the Chiefs are getting all this attention when they really didn't have they didn't have a great season apart from the playoffs. Like, they had
and Mike Kelce had.
That's all that counts.
Kelce had a bludger of a season.
Yeah.
That the back half of the season.
Well, you think about it too, like a bit of a conspiracy. Like, if you're the NFL, you wanted them to go all the way to the Super Bowl for sure.
True.
Like, think of the exposure they got on the back of
internationally,
her being there and touring at the same time. Like, how many people were doing like analysis of like her trip from Japan after she toured? Was it 48 hours she had to go back to Vegas to watch the game? Like, it just that sort of exposure. Like, the NFL would have been...
I wonder what it did to TV ratings. They were anticipating that it was going to give them about a 50% spike in television ratings.
Last year was 115 million or something across the US, and this year was predicted to be like 210
Do we
million.
have any stats?
So almost like 100% lift.
Yeah.
Almost doubled the ratings just for Swifties to catch a glimpse of Taylor.
And it was
and
also
Williams.
it was the most expensive year. It was the highest TV ratings, and it was also the most expensive
advertising
tickets wise.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Vegas.
Yeah. Nice.
Everything in Vegas is really expensive, though.
What did we think of Usher?
Average.
I thought he was amazing, but I thought
Song choice.
I thought I thought the whole ensemble and performance, I thought it was really underwhelming. Given it's Vegas, I think they missed an opportunity. Surely, like Viva Las Vegas, I was expecting something complete.
Sorry,
From
sorry,
Usher?
cover.
But that's that type of theme.
Let's
Yeah.
get
Well,
this
they
right
did
for a
have
second.
on a
they
second.
did
You're
have the Flamingo Girl.
Are you saying you wanted Elvis?
Yeah, essentially.
Like, because
My highlight personally was Alicia Keys.
She was good.
She was
really
awesome. I went, oh, thank God, it's about to turn.
Yeah.
But then his song choices, they just weren't my
He's
faves
a cool
of his.
dude. I thought he was.
And he
him
lost me.
personally. I thought he was outstanding.
I think
Oh, he
he
is.
did a lot of his R&B stuff as well
Yeah.
in the middle, which is they're good music and Americans love it, but it's a bit slow for the NFL.
For that vibe.
I think he should have done his 4 biggest ones. Like he did, Oh My God. They were
Mm.
good because they were a bit like uplifting, but then he should have brought people out to do covers of their songs and he did it with them. Like
Mm.
I would have liked to have seen someone like a Taylor Swift would have been good to do it with it. Like you need more shock factor. He just sort of did all of his own songs. Alicia Keys did one of hers.
Everyone was saying out there, weren't they, at the pub, they're going, okay, Usher, yeah, but okay, where's the surprise?
You know-
who's
you know-
who's the person that's going to arrive?
In the first half, I hopped on my app to try and bet on the Chiefs because they were down. I thought, oh, the odds might have gone up. Yeah,
live
I'm
betting.
trying. And I couldn't find it, but I could bet on what the first song that Usher was going to sing
Yeah.
in his halftime entertainment was.
Yeah.
I went, oh,
Oh, they have all those novelty
Yeah.
markets, yes.
I had a bet on it was $1.40 that he would wear sunglasses in his performance.
really?
And I thought like I've never even seen his eyes. Like he's like Millhouse where like he doesn't ever not have glasses on. So I went, oh, that's free money. So I just put a bet on it. And it was the one time he come out
did
with
it.
no
Well,
glasses.
you were shattered. You went, he's not wearing his glasses. He's not wearing his glasses.
he put a little bit.
and you're going, what?
Back on Travis Kelce and like that song, Viva Las, just see him at full time. He was just up there and he actually started singing Viva Las Vegas.
Oh, did he?
And then after that, Fight for Your Right to Party.
Oh, I love that.
It's-
That's a good one.
Mate, if you're
It's a
the
cracking
Chiefs owner, does he get a little bit of the amount of revenue he's brought into the club throughout the year? Does he get a little bit of a bonus at the end of this
Well,
season?
or is he getting a big head and that's why he had to go at his coach?
That was odd.
That was not.
I felt sorry
cool.
for Andy Reid.
Yeah, and I think he's deflected it. But
Yeah.
I don't think that would have been well appreciated.
Trish, it's really fun. I think it's been a very, very difficult campaign for the coach because look, the coach won't admit it because he looks a very understated and looks very much a player's man. But when the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing really started to take on a life of its own, he must have been thinking, "Oh dear,
Yes, it's
this
gonna-
is no other way of looking at it." For the team, it was a distraction. And I look at his performance when it really started, as I said, really started to whip up. His form really dropped off. I think it was a distraction for him for a fair while. I think that blow up. I think that blow up was part of the whole frustration. He couldn't get himself into the game.
Do you know what I did think? A thought that crossed my mind when I turned on because I didn't watch from the beginning and 49ers were leading. I went, because Mahomes' wife did a Sports Illustrated swimsuit
Yeah, right.
photo
Spread.
session.
Yep.
And I thought, was that a smart thing to do the week of the Super Bowl? Because that just provides, for whatever reason, the opposition with ammunition. Like, you know what you boys like in the NRL. You're down and dirty.
They're not like that. They're not like that over there. Everyone takes advantage of the week because their eyes are on everyone. Like everyone's partners were releasing clothing labels and doing all this
really?
stuff. Yeah, they just love it.
Okay. The politics of the wags. Right, huh?
Great topic.
The politics of the wags.
All sports?
Taylor, when understand.
Are we focusing
and it is-
directly on the
but
Chiefs?
We're gonna focus on the Chiefs here.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes' wife doing a spread.
Yeah.
Like, is that in some ways competing with the Swift
No,
factor?
I don't think so.
Well, okay.
not
What
e-
about all
not
the other
even the
girls?
same
What about all the
dimension.
other girls who's they've been with the husbands that or for a decade, and they win the Super Bowl, but it's all about Taylor. Do you think there would be any bit of a little bit of something?
I don't think so.
I think she's such a big superstar. I think it
She's-
wouldn't really,
I think they'd be like, how cool, we've got Taylor hanging out with us.
Yeah, Dave's just showed us his lock screen.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
And
like,
it's
It's
Jackson.
quite a reveal.
Dave,
And that's one of the more
Dave,
sedate
stop you there. Put your
shots.
pants back on, Dave.
Stop it.
Okay.
But do you know what I did see? Well, I saw some footage, and I actually have it, of when they're at one of the after parties in a Vegas club, and Kelsey's up with the DJs singing Belong With Me, Taylor Swift's song.
Yeah.
And she's laughing. And there's another snapshot where Mahomes' wife is actually standing beside Taylor, and she's not looking very
Trish.
good for wear. She's had a
she looked
huge
she
night.
She had a big one.
She'd had a huge
Okay.
night. She's
Good
looking
for
quite
where?
rugged.
Not looking good for
Well,
where?
you know, I was looking for my words.
Worse
Why are
for
you
wear.
pointing
Yeah.
at me?
Let's go off the Super Bowl now. Jack's actually prepared something.
Yeah, so this week I decided to go check out the classifieds, as I spoke about last week. We didn't know what, if they even still exist and what would be in them. I've never looked at the classifieds once in my life.
What is the classified?
It's basically like a section. It's like a buy, search, sell sort of.
Like the old trading post, Gumtree.
Yeah.
Like Gumtree.
Gumtree in paper form, or through the
and
news.
surprisingly, they're still
Digital
there.
these days.
Digital these days, or I think they must be still in the paper. So let's go from the NFL into the classifieds, which is a bit of contrast there for you. So what you can do is you got your trades and services. You can sell pets. There's notices.
Oh, pets.
Jobs, adult services, Cooper, buy and sell, monitoring, real estate. There's real estate on there.
Oh.
Travel, entertainment. So I got a few there
Real
for you.
estate was just about the biggest realestate.com and those sort of things. Yeah.
Well, no, but
And
but
the domain and-
but you spoke the other week about us selling our first home ourselves. It was through a
So
classified ad.
classified. We did it privately.
Yeah, like these days they have a whole lift out for real estate in various papers, etc. But it was literally just a classified ad.
Just
and we
ran-
sold our
this
first
is
home.
where we live. This is the address, and this is what we're going to sell it for. People turned up. And
Caravan and motorhomes, a 23-foot caravan with an island bed cover,
Oh, yeah. What
$39,000. It's
Wow.
been
How many Ks on
tell
that?
them they're dreaming.
And is it a manual?
not said. Not said. Next one, we've got a. Well, some people need to be more specific about their ads. Cute puppies is the title of the ad. 6 weeks old, ready now. 3 males. V cute. Short for very cute.
Very.
Yeah.
Genuine buyers only. Contact for price. You'd think you'd advertise what kind of dog.
Obviously they're bitzers
that
and they
pictures?
don't, or they
Yeah.
don't know.
And then you got entertainment ads. John McCall Jazz Group. $30 to $40 they say. It doesn't say per hour or what. It says $30 to $40. We've got anniversaries are on it. So you go. There's Duggar and Frances Beasley are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations,
They've been
guys.
listeners of ours for so long.
Great work,
Oh, the
guys.
Beasleys.
Proud of you.
Is there death?
60th.
Yeah, death
Deaths?
notices was a big
They
one.
were huge.
Yeah,
Really?
My
They still
grandfather
are.
used to sit there and just pour through the deaths.
Yeah, the obituaries,
Nothing
they're
brought a
called.
smile to his face more than just gave him a great sense of himself when he just goes through the deaths and goes,
This might give
beat ya.
This might give him a bit more of a smile. Adult services daytime special.
Ooh.
Just advertises underwear. I don't know what that means. What about in The Simpsons? I do remember the classifieds. The trampoline in The Simpsons. The Homer, the trambamboline. Did you ever see that one?
No,
Yeah,
no.
trampoline. Yeah.
Trambamboline, and he pretty much takes off straight away and goes through like a playground to get it.
Yeah, there used to be everything in there, Trish.
Literally.
Just reminded me there about the...
Garage sales. I loved a garage sale.
Well, remember the community notice boards? You walk into supermarkets and there'd be
I
community...
never really went for those.
So we used to play a trick on a mate of ours all the time. We'd put up like a little notice just going, free French poodle pups, purebred, got to go, $10. And mate, and he'd put his number up, and his family would just be literally getting bombarded for a week. People ringing up about the free French poodle pups.
the-
I'm going to go, there are no
No, the best one's the Gumtree. The Gumtree one is the best. Like, you put up advertising for some domesticated animals that are free, and you say they're free range. Put someone's number on the ad and say, don't contact me on the app, just because I don't go on the app and don't have my notifications on. So they have no choice but to text or call. There's a few S&Cs I've had over the years that have been absolutely hounded by people.
Is it strength and conditioners?
Yes,
Trainers?
trainers at clubs. So if they ever get on my nerves a little bit, I stitch them up and chuck their numbers on a Gumtree ad. And I did a Jake Clifford once. He had people ringing him asking for what were they asking? What kind of breed the chickens were? And there was a few. Yeah, there was a few. It was, mate, dead set. The messages come through. If you leave it, you can leave it on there for ages. Make thousands of texts.
Is it just me, or whenever I hear Jake Clifford's name, I think of the big red dog?
That's just
No.
you.
Is it just me? Okay.
I think about because Jack always says he's got no ass, so I always think about like just a flatless.
You got great legs.
Great legs though. Shit
I
ass.
think
but great
used to
legs.
put together the ultimate rugby league player as far as looks. And Reece Walsh's eyes, and Cliffo won easily on the legs.
Great legs.
Amazing legs.
Was it my night stay? But you sat with him in the auditorium in the meeting beforehand.
That's right.
And you were sitting next to him. And I remember you coming up to me and didn't say anything about the fact that I was going to play the next day. He just kept coming up to me saying, "Did you see Jake Clifford's legs?" I was sitting next
I'm
to
gonna
him.
have to Google
and I
them.
couldn't take my eyes off them. I was thinking, must be pretty good legs.
Mate,
My
it was
Lord.
Ryan Madison's arms, Reece Walsh's eyes, Jack Clifford's legs. There was someone else.
Pat Carrigan's hair.
It was Paddy Carrigan's hair.
Cuba Jones's personality.
Well, no, your nose got to start. It looked good on someone else's face. Right, we're going to take a really quick break, and when we come back, one of the things we're going to talk about is this incredible documentary, Greatest Night in Pop.
Welcome back. To catch all the action on video, don't forget to allow us... follow us, sorry. I'll go again.
We should leave this in, Gav. This
No,
is just,
no,
this is just
Professional.
you can work as much as you want in Kyle and Jackie O. I'm still the big dog, the big red dog. Go
Okay.
again, mate.
Leave
Take
it.
2 people.
Welcome back to the show. To catch all the action on video, don't forget to follow us on TikTok and YouTube. All you need to do is search up the Matty Johns podcast. And now we have a dedicated podcast Instagram. Catch all the action at Matty Johns podcast.
You got there.
Patricia.
Oh, well, we had a huge weekend. Well, I had a huge weekend. Went very spontaneously. Someone had a spare ticket to Pink.
Oh,
She was brilliant. We had a labour there. Someone else needed medical appointment.
She's quite an athlete.
Attention.
She's quite an athlete.
She's just incredible. Like, she just smiles the whole way.
She's amazing. I
Isn't
said
she?
mate, she's bloody amazing. I said it to someone as well. The fact that she's singing, trapezing, flying
upside
throughout the
down.
stadium. First of all, she's got a death wish, and she doesn't even. You can't even hear she's puffed.
Yeah. And how
Really?
about she just
Yeah.
smiles? She just smiles the whole way through it.
Yeah.
And what I loved was when there were the 2 medical emergencies there, she stopped the concert. So she's watching the crowd. And I thought, how engaging.
What annoyed
Like,
me.
she's literally watching
So
her people.
What medical emergency?
A woman went into labour.
Yeah.
What?
And then not 3 minutes later, I think someone else passed out because then they actually had her up in front of where
My
we were sitting.
So was there like a horde of people went around them, or did she spot
people
it?
were waving. No, people were waving.
Yeah, they were waving to get
The water's
tent-
broke. The water's broke.
Yeah.
Push, push.
She's pretty incredible. I just loved her.
Take the
vibe.
drugs.
She's really
not you,
authentic.
her.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different
I'd
to
go
our
and see her
time.
again.
A bit different to Big Day Out back in the day, Cobber, that you and me went to, 2013.
Just slightly different.
There was a few people. It was a very hot day.
It was
Oh.
A few dehydrated people.
It was,
and-
mate. It was.
It was about 40 degrees that day, I remember.
Keep going. It was-
yeah. Mate, you had people. I think they might have been taking some substances that were getting taken out a fair bit.
At the
bit by
big
bit.
day out
Which
at a music festival.
dehydrate them, the silly
never,
folk.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever.
Yeah, but it was that hot, mate. The medical team had to they were working overtime that day, weren't they?
It
Cobber?
was. So it was.
Oh no, this was full ambulance stretchered.
Yeah,
off
people
this-
getting
the woman in
stretchered
front
out,
of
like-
us. Yeah.
Oh, this was like
There was
people,
IV drip. Yeah, there was a whole thing. I don't know what
I
was
wonder
going
if
on.
they're going to put. I wonder if. I'd love to know. Did the woman have a boy or a girl?
Don't
Is she
know.
calling it pink? Or
Or
Tones-
blue?
Hey, what was Tones and I like?
She was great.
Yeah, she's good.
She's
very
straight
She was a
energy,
support act
isn't
to let
she?
people know.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very good. I'd never
Yeah.
seen her live before.
Me either.
She was very good. I knew a lot of her songs, though. Like, her songs are pretty renowned in Australia.
Yeah.
At I was at a charity show for the Ricky Stewart Foundation on Friday. A lot of people there. Someone was telling me that they were at a function, and Tones and I was there, and it said she was just a massive knockabout, just sitting there in the
Oh,
tracksuit,
yeah.
having a beer.
You can
Said
see.
she was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, you can see she's just really,
Well, she lives
really
up in,
cash.
lives up in Byron.
Yeah.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was very
Makes you
cool.
think.
I really liked her. And young and sprightly. She had an energy plus.
Mm.
Excited to be there. She was just excited, which was so special. That was nice.
Sounds like someone else's quote.
SCG? The
Allianz.
Allianz,
sorry.
Allianz.
Talking about, while we're on the topic of music, Matthew, you haven't stopped talking about a very certain documentary.
Do you know, as I get older, I'm realising, I was talking to Dave about this before, I'm actually starting to become really OCD. The greatest night in pop, if people that don't know, it's the making of We Are the World and all the stories around it. Jack put me on to it. It is outstanding. I've watched it 4 times now. I've
Yeah,
watched it
and
4
you're making
times
us watch it
in
too
the last
every
4
time.
days. It's just so good. And talking about OCD, at the moment, what I'm doing, I get an infatuation on a song, and I just go to that song over and over and over again. Like, had it with a Black Grape song and Happy Monday song. At the moment, I'm going through this. I just finished reading the Eagles book. just all I keep singing to myself and putting on all the time is Heartache Tonight, but it's actually nearly driving me insane.
Yeah. Don't worry, us too.
Son of a bitch.
Not
It's not
bloody
just you,
wrong.
you're driving insane.
But greatest night, yeah.
Who was in the greatest night in pop? Who impressed you the most? Which
you know-
artist?
Yeah, you've got some
Well-
favourite pieces you were telling us
Well,
about.
the first thing I'll talk about, I think the most amazing thing that blew me away was how insecure Bob Dylan was in that company. So Bob Dylan, it's like, mate, you're fucking Bob Dylan. But he walks in the room and he realises he can't hit those high notes of the others.
Yeah.
And so they say, Quincy Jones at the start, look, we're going to hit this key. If you can't do it, don't join in. Right? Anyway, they all, because of ego, they're all trying to hit that. And he just stands there sort of mumbling. And then when it's his turn to come up and sing the words, he's rattled. He just freezes and he's literally doing about that loud. And they're going, so Quincy Jones, who comes across as not just a great music producer, but a psychologist and what a managing people, he just goes, righto, okay, walks up to Dylan, says, get everyone else out of the studio. So they've all left the studio. Takes Bob Dylan over to Stevie Wonder. And Stevie Wonder, again, not just a great musician, but they said probably the best mimic Quincy Jones said he's ever seen. So he said to Stevie Wonder, you sing to Bob how he needs to sing it. And Stevie Wonder just goes, well, it's going to be a better day, just you and me. Like that. And Bob Dylan just has his massive smile, goes to the mic and just lays it down.
Yeah.
But it is true. Like it's who would have thought that Bob Dylan would walk into that room and be the one who was intimidated?
Yeah.
If I was to
I
do,
think they all looked a little intimidated, to be honest.
Huey Lewis, what a gem. So I had 5 people in the room I'd want to have a night out with. I've gone Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder looks a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've gone Huey Lewis. Huey Lewis I think, is the best in studio as far as personality. Really good.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah. Lionel's the king of it, I reckon. Like Lionel's
Awesome.
a pretty cool cat.
I've gone Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi, mate, she's got some pipes on her too, mate.
See, I disagree.
Really?
I disagree. Yeah, I think it's no. I don't think she has the pipes on her.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her voice.
I like her music, but I in that certain song, I think her voice just doesn't suit it. I'm sorry.
Who's she last? Oh, she the last?
No, well, I tossed it up between Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, and Bruce Springsteen.
Oh,
Kenny
what about
Rogers.
Diana Ross? She was super cute.
She was
She was
great.
good, yeah.
She broke the ice too.
Yeah,
Let people
she
know.
had
They're
the
all
magic.
sitting around, and like she went up to Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates and said, "I'm a huge fan. Could you sign this for me?" And you imagine Daryl Hall going, "Jesus Christ, it's Diana Ross." But then the ice broke and everyone's getting each other's autograph.
Yeah.
But Springsteen's impressive.
Yeah, Springsteen was very impressive.
God, he's young.
He was young there. You know what my favourite part of it was? When Ray Charles didn't know where the toilet was, and Stevie says, "Oh, I know where it is," and there's Stevie dragging Ray Charles through, and then Lionel goes, "Well, the blind really is leading
I think
the
the
blind."
blind, yeah.
I was going, "That's pretty good."
Well, Ray Charles you can see what a great character he is. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's a fantastic keepsake of that time. And it's amazing, Jack, someone whose idea was to just do warts and all, just film it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, but as you would, if you get that many like people with such high profiles like that, you would want to document it in some way.
My question is, Jack, it's been so long. It's a wonder it wasn't done earlier. The next question. Did you think our man Billy Joel looked a little somber and dark?
Yeah, but you know what? Oh, the camera was only on him a few times,
Yeah.
and when you think about it, there was that many like people that are megastars. You think there's only so much film back then too.
Yeah.
So much tape you had that you could get people.
He was pretty young there too.
Yeah, he was right in his pomp. I mean, it's talking mid-'80s. You know, he's flying there. He's come off The Stranger and a lot of those. He's Uptown Girl area, which is huge.
I think he's more of a 90s. I think he's more of a 90s guy. I think a lot of those. I remember listening to the podcast.
80s,
I don't think
man.
those ones went off straight away. I'm pretty sure it took a few years
grown
and then
over
they
time.
grew.
Oh, Coop, he was massive in the 80s.
Can
Billy
I-
Joel was huge.
Can I just intervene while we're on, stars interacting? I just want to give a shout out to the Brisbane Broncos, Adam Reynolds and Pat Carrigan.
Oh yeah.
I know they're covered a lot of flack in the media earlier in the week for wrestling, but what people don't see is I want to applaud them for getting in extras after training hours because
Wrestling
that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to get
They're
in.
preparing
Yeah.
for Vegas.
Yeah, well, Matty Ballon is their defensive coach. I'm sure he's had them in there.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I've seen him in the background. He was
Yeah.
refereeing it.
He probably would have been,
I just want to give him because I think that's a lot of people thinking, they're being aggressive. It's not a great look. I think it's good
Yeah.
because they're out there training harder than anyone else.
Mate,
I've got him to win the comp.
And I've trained with Rene before. To get him out there doing extra wrestling, they're doing something right at the Broncos. Trust me.
And mate, he's gone for the big dog. He hasn't gone for Reece Walsh. He's gone. I'm going to go for one of the leadership groups, for the fellow co-skipper. I'm going to go after him. I'm going to show you all the young blokes what it's all about.
Yeah.
But I mean, look,
Who hasn't wrestled a mate?
people at the moment, I've heard some people say, this is outrageous. They shouldn't be allowed to go to Vegas.
Outrage crowd.
Righto. They've had a few bit righto, and they're wrestling. It is literally 5 seconds of footage. I don't know if there's any more there, but honestly, come on, just Broncos are saying, mate, we contacted the. It's funny, the more you talk about it, sometimes the bigger it gets. If you go, look, the Broncos had a look at it, and look, they've pulled them in and said, hey, listen, boy, everyone goes, yeah. But the moment you start hearing, and I get it, it's a process you've got to go through. The Integrity Commission have been contacted and they're investigating it. Suddenly people are going, ooh, wow, this is salacious.
More than is there.
Mate, I just consider themselves lucky that it. They got it out of their systems, and it probably wasn't in Las Vegas Strip. Because I'm telling you right now, the
that's
Americans might find that a bit different.
Yeah, well, Americans are very
Well, this is for the people who don't play rugby league. That is so every day for 6 days of the week. You're in there training, tackling, and wrestling each other, and they go out on a night out. And I don't know the nuances of it or whatever, but having a wrestle in a public park,
look,
who gives a shit?
Kurt, I couldn't give a shit. I think it gets blown up out of proportion. The only thing is that when you're in the training venue, you got fellow athletes around you. The thing people would say sometimes, even you have a bit of a wrestle out in public, there's people there that aren't used to that, you know what I mean, in that sort of physicality and close by. Yeah. There'd be a little bit of people panicking and whatnot, but in my opinion, if I'm running the Broncos, I'd just go, boys, come in. I said, fair dinkum. You two blokes,
Give them that.
at your age.
That stuff happened. There's probably, especially after a few beers, for footy players getting in that environment where they're very comfortable, and it looked like there was a big group of them there as well. That is so minor in within a football club. You get pushed in. The wrestle is one of the hardest parts of rugby league. Blokes are pushed to do that 4 times a week at least in pre-season, or 4 or 5 sessions. Coop, I know you did massive when you were in Melbourne, but you would get so comfortable doing that with each other that they wouldn't have even thought afterwards that was even going to be an incident, which obviously, for the general public, that's hard to understand, and it probably isn't right doing it in public. It obviously isn't right, but you got to realise that these blokes do this professionally. You'd rather 2 professionals doing it than 2 people that aren't, used to doing that. That's when the real damage happens.
Well, in my theory, it's like a gymnast doing a backflip on a night out. Not many people know how to do a backflip. And if I saw a guy do a backflip, I go, he just did a backflip.
Yeah.
But to him, it's normal.
Okay. Do
you get that?
That's probably the silliest thing that I've ever heard. Look, I think my advice to sometimes with clubs is don't react on what you think people want to hear. Treat it for actually what it is. I remember a couple of years ago, Payne Haas and Albert Kelly. And Payne Haas absolutely stood in Albert's white shoes, I think, which teed it off. Now, apart from that, Payne's just sort of holding Albert on. And Payne was fined and suspended for a game, missed a game. And you're going, guys, come on. Don't just impose a fine and a ban on a person just because you think that people want to do it. Just treat it on what it really is.
Yeah.
I've had my say.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to take a really quick break and come back, and apparently Jack's got something outstanding for us. Welcome back to the show. As I threw to the break then, I said, Jack's got something outstanding for us, and Jack turned to me and said, I really don't. Good hook, good tease. Okay, Jack's got something incredibly average for us. Jack, what do you got?
Yeah, here you are. The Australian Senate passed a bill giving workers the right to ignore calls and messages outside of work hours without repercussions. Still has to be passed by the House of Reps, but what do you think?
I think
Jeez,
no
that's-
repercussions is a pretty loose
I
term.
think that
I think
is-
there will
yeah.
be repercussions if you want to
yeah.
keep your job.
Yeah, I think it was the Greens that tried to push that through. I think that is, in instances like that, you cannot. It is ridiculous to try to push through a black and white rule on that.
Yeah.
No,
That's-
I understand it though. I have friends who incessantly get contacted by their
But is it
bosses
by, but is it by work?
ridiculously.
Oh, jeez, that's all scary.
Like,
by
out
their
of control.
bosses or by clients? Because
No,
there's a
their
difference.
boss.
Yeah.
'Cause, like,
Yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah.
I think you just ignore them. But I think there's no way of how do you prove that it's not going to have
Yeah.
how do you prove, because he could go, okay, and then 2 months down the track he says, the last 2 months of your performance haven't been very good. We're
Yeah.
going to sack you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what about this? Well, okay, let me put it the other side here. Imagine you think about yourself, Coop. You're a coach. You know? You're a first grade coach. You're coaching the side. Big game coming up. You've had a big long session in training that day, but all of a sudden you go back and I've got to call my halfback over something. There's just one more thing, and you give him a call, and he won't take your call. And then he says to you the next day, "Oh no, mate, I tried to reach her. Yeah, I knew that, but we had training through the day, and I just you'd be going."
Do you know, I
Yeah,
think
but
everyone
it's
is
a little-
entitled to have
That's
time
like
out
shake
though.
hands with a reserve grade coach.
Yeah, I think rugby league environment is different because it's not, you're actually not getting them to do any work. I think it's more so like, say you work in like a marketing firm and they're ringing you on a Saturday, mate, we need you to do this over the week. Like, I need you to do this on your laptop or something
Well,
like
I
that. Rugby
disagree
league's-
Well,
because you are working.
It's
You are
very
working for
different
them.
between industries. Like, I've got a mate that works in property, and he tells me a story. He's told me a little while ago. It was actually on a Monday. He came to work, and they all said, "Mate, thank you for helping us out over the weekend." And he went, "What the are you talking about?" Like, he had no idea what they were talking about. And he was on call. He didn't even realise for, like, repairs and maintenance for some properties. So he had a massive Saturday night. Gets home at, like, 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh.
And checked his call log, and at 4 a.m. he had a call. He had to organise a locksmith for people. They locked someone in one of the rooms that he was managing, and he had to, like, organise locksmiths, and was blind, he reckons, and come into work, didn't even realise till they all told him on Monday, and then realised that he did it. Like,
So he just completely.
he can't remember doing it.
He can work.
But, like,
still.
in that
Bless
situation,
him.
like, but say if that didn't
High-functioning
work
alcoholic.
out, like, say something happened and, like, they obviously got him, but, like, say he wasn't able to complete the job, like, obviously you're at no fault there. Like,
Well, that's right. Yeah, but that's a different scenario when you're on call.
well, he believes he wasn't on call. So then you go, well,
Well, sometimes you.
Or maybe that's why
sometimes
they thanked him.
Sometimes you should go above and beyond.
yeah.
Well,
know-
you do. If you can, you do, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, look,
Like,
you
don't
know,
be an arsehole about things.
Myself, Fletch, Hindy, and Gordy. I'll tell you right now, we didn't want to go to Vegas for that orientation. Like, we didn't want to. We didn't want to get over there, but it was
For the
you
team.
guys. We were forced to do it, and we went above and beyond because that's what we do. When I was over there, they said, "How about to have a drink?" I didn't want to have a drink.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I just wanted to. I wanted to have an early night. But the bottom line is sometimes you've got to go above and beyond for your employer and employees.
You are amazing, honestly.
Just imagine Craig Bellamy trying to get onto a debutante on a Saturday night. Mate, Jerome Hughes has gone down trying to ring little Jeremy to get him his first game at halfback, and he's going, it's outside of work hours, I'm not going to pick up.
Sorry, Craig. I'm in the movies with my wife. If you don't mind, just respect my privacy. No worries, mate. Good luck at the Sunshine Coast Falcons, who are a fantastic club. It's not a slur on Sunshine Coast Falcons. It's just that they're the feeder team. It's an example. If you're up in that grade, disrespected Craig and would drop back.
Yes.
Glad I clarified that.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Okay.
Compared to the East Tigers, anyway.
All right. Okay. Cooper, no more nose picking for you, mate. Chronic nose picking has been linked to Alzheimer's.
What?
Because of the introduction of bacteria into the sensitive nasal passage and a build-up of a certain protein that they've found correlates with Alzheimer's.
I've never seen Trish on the drive back from Seven Hills. I marvelled at his picking. He's like fingers, his ET fingers.
He's
Are
picking.
just going up the nose, in between, up and around the sphincter, the arsehole, scraping down no man's land, sniffing it. Mate, it's just non-stop.
Well, there you go. See, that's not good. That's additional bacteria.
Show the
So stop.
camera those fingers, by the way. They are ET fingers.
Yeah, they are. He was born
They
with
are.
those. He's got my mum's fingers.
That's
Phone
it.
home.
Edward Scissorhands.
These-
do you know
these-
what
these
chronic-
are Womble fingers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have a look at the sausage
Thank
fingers.
God you got those from me, boys, not him.
Yeah. I do find I get jittery and that. I think it's like I've been drinking coffee and that lately too, so it's even worse. Like I find myself tapping my fingers. And
You used to do that when you were a little boy.
How's work going, by the way, in a Colin Jackie?
Really good. Yeah, really good. I find myself...
Great. I'm happy for you, mate. I love the way you just went really good. Really, really good.
Thanks, mate. It's easy. I can't believe you used to whinge about getting up all these early hours so long.
Well, there's a difference between being the host and basically...
You just had 4 of yous on there
Yeah,
on that show.
pull
You
your
barely
head
had
in,
to
Matt.
do anything. And you went till
Show your
9
big head.
a.m. We go till usually 11.
Please, this is a show that's built themselves up to be, in my opinion, probably the best radio show in the country. Please do not say we. You earn your stripes, son.
Yeah.
Okay?
Probably.
Is there anything else?
No.
Anything else? Thanks
No,
for that.
I've got a little feedback.
Oh, yeah, go.
Okay. Trish from Coleroy says, bring back If I Was A and Predicament of the Week, or I'm not going to be listening anymore.
Okay.
She sounds delusional.
I don't. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I have some feedback. Can I quickly? This was one of the greatest things I've ever read.
This will be again.
Shit, I shouldn't have hyped it up. That
You should.
Oh, no.
I've got a great joke for you guys. Everyone goes, okay, smartass.
No,
let's go.
This is from one of our listeners, Matthew. This was brilliant. Hi, Cooper. How are you, mate? Love your work and everything. I'm listening. I added that video. Sorry. I'm listening to the last family episode. There was a bit of chat about dog shit, and I thought I'd share a story. A few of the boys were on a bender early on Sunday morning. One of the boys decided to walk home. Walking through a park, he came to the realization he needed to shit and wouldn't make it home. He looked over and seen a toilet block, to which he headed over, went around the corner and did his business on the grass. Halfway through, a Great Dane came running around the corner to him and wanted to play. My mate quickly finished up and patted the dog in shock. About 10 seconds later, the dog's owner came around the corner and looked at my mate and seen the shit on the floor. He said, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, mate," thinking the shit had came from his dog. He then pulled out a plastic bag, picked it up, hooked it onto his belt and walked away.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Oh. One of my dear mates, old Peaky, God bless his soul, he was an incredible practical joker. So they went, it was a school vacation, they went, like an excursion thing, they went to Hawaii, right? So one of the classes he was doing, anyway, they went across there. Anyway, Peaky, there's no way else of saying it, he shit in a plastic bag, right, and threw it down outside the hotel and floor, waiting for someone to sort of step in and so on. Mate, it was the principal of school that actually stepped bush in the dog shit, in Peaky's shit, went right over the back of his pants, and all he was talking about for the rest of the trip, fellas, you should have smelled it. American dog shit smells so different.
And on that note,
oh dear. Guys, look after yourselves.
Have a great weekend and week.
Stuff.
Water your pets and your elderly neighbours. Have a good one.
Ciao.